Hi everybody, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to remove backgrounds from photos so you can use them inside Sims You Share. This is one of the most common requests I get on how we create the cab cutouts and the responding apparatus pictures that we use in a lot of simulations. So first I'll just give you a quick example of what this will look like. So I'm going to go into this simulation here and I'll go ahead and just click play. And we'll move the controls. So you see how I have this apparatus here. We took this command vehicle, remove the background, and then put it into our simulation. We can, of course, resize it. We can change all the colors, brightness, just like we do with any other element. And then we also have a couple other examples here. You can see this one is a responding photo. So we have a cab cutout where the windows are actually the part that's transparent. So anything we do behind here, we can make it visible through the cab. And this is another photo that's similar to that, where it's a command vehicle that just has the windshield as the area that's all cut out. And then this one is a ladder here to show you can use any kind of image. So it doesn't have to be a vehicle. You can just grab the image, remove the background, and then use it within your simulation. So I'm going to show you real quick here. We'll edit these and you can see within here I can move these around. I can scale them just like I had talked about. We can also use any of the brightness or opacity features to make it match the scene better. And we'll go ahead and take a look at a couple of the other ones real quick. With the cab here, like I was saying, you still have access to all of your elements. So you can still move all of that inside the cab photo. And just to give you a better look here, if I click on the actual photo, you can see I can move that around. So that's what we're actually creating, is this cab cutout here. And we'll go ahead real quick and just take a look at the ladder. Like we talked about, again, just I can move the ladder around, I can scale it. I can use my transform tools just like we normally would if I want to transform it vertically or horizontally to flip it around. So you have full access again to bring in any photos you want. Now, with doing this, this is one of those things that tends to be difficult if you use Photoshop or some of the other tools that are available. And I'd always been looking for a good way to be able to do this. And quite honestly, the best thing that I found is Canva. It's canva.com. And if you haven't used Canva already, it's a great graphic editing and design tool. And to be honest with you, I haven't opened Photoshop in probably 6 months. I pretty much use Canva for everything related to logos, graphics, doing all this image editing. It's just a really good tool. Now, I will say this background removal feature that I'm going to show you is a paid feature in Canva. So you will need to have one of the paid memberships with Canva. It's basically an annual membership. I think mine's about $100 a year. It's well worth it at that rate. They do have some educational pricing. So depending on your affiliation, you may be able to get Canva at an educational or free or discounted rate. But again, I just have the normal account. It gives me access to everything. And one of the coolest features within Canva, you can see all these templates here. What's really nice is you can just search for any specific logo or graphic, and there are just hundreds of, literally over 100,000 free graphics that just pop right up, and you have access to them when you have the paid account. So I do highly recommend Canva. And let me go ahead and show you how we can easily remove these backgrounds. So we start by logging into our Canva site here, and we're just going to choose this Create Design. And at the bottom here, we have an Edit Photo button. So we're going to choose that. And I'll go ahead and upload. I'm going to upload all 3 photos, but we'll start with just the image looking through the cab here. So I'll choose Open. And it's going to kind of upload that photo to my Canva site. It brings it up here. And once it's finished, we want to click on Edit Photo, which kind of brings it in and takes us to that photo. Okay, so now I'm within Canva and I'm editing this exact photo. I'm also going to go ahead and bring in the other 2 photos, and I'll show you. You can do them one at a time, or you can do them multiple. So what we're going to do to bring in the other two photos and kind of do everything all at once, I'm going to choose duplicate page right here. And then I'm going to choose duplicate page one more time. So now I have 3 pages of the same photo. I'm just going to select this and hit delete. And the same thing here. So that leaves me the 2 pages, but they're blank. So now what I want to do is click on my second page here, and we'll want to go to our uploads area, and we can choose upload image. And then of course you just go to your device. I'm going to grab the vehicle here as the second one. And you can see it's bringing it in here on the left. And once that's in, then I'll just drag it over and drop it in, and we can resize it to whatever size we want to use. I'm actually going to shrink that down a little bit more. Okay, that's pretty good. And now we'll scroll down to our third one, upload our other image. And this is just our ladder. And we'll upload that. And we're going to do the same thing where we bring it over and just drop it in the middle. And again, I'll make it full size here. And again, you can resize these, so it's not really that big of a deal what size you make it when you're actually removing the background. And it's okay for the image to be over the edges like this as well. So we'll just leave that one just like that. Click off. And so now we're going to work on this first image. We're going to click on the image so that it's highlighted. We're going to choose effects here in the menu bar. And if you don't see background remover, this is your most recently used items. You can just search right here for background and you'll see the background remover. It'll pop up. But once you use it, it'll be in your favorites here. So all we do is click background remover, and it's going to work and try to figure out what it needs to remove. And the benefit of this, when you use something like Photoshop versus Canva, there's just so much more hand editing that needs to be done, in my opinion. When you look at this photo, you can see here, it's almost perfect. It removed everything, all these little bits around the windshield wipers. The only thing it left was this little bitty piece here at the bottom. So all we do there is zoom in, and we're going to just move around to get that over. And then we can come here and we can choose erase. And that gives us the ability to change brush size. You can see that's a really big brush, so I don't need that. I'm going to drop it down. And I'll use something really small, about like that. And what I want to do is just kind of hold down my mouse and slide over. Now what you want to do is let go of your mouse, because that makes a history here. So if I hit Command Z, I can bring back what I just did. Now, if I cleaned up a bunch of this red and then I accidentally went like this, then when I hit Command Z, it takes me all the way back to the beginning. So I like to remove this stuff just like in little sections. And every time you let go of your mouse and restart again, you're making a new selection. So I can just Command Z back to that little part instead of having to go all the way back to the beginning. Hopefully that makes sense. So I usually do a couple swipes. And then when I'm getting ready to do my detailed area, I'll just do those one at a time. That's pretty good. And then here, maybe I want to zoom in a little bit more on my photo. That's down here on the bottom right. I can kind of move around, drop my brush size down a little again. And then we're just going to swipe through here. And there we go. And that's pretty good. You really don't, for what we're doing with our simulations, you won't even see that when you're back to your normal percentages of size. You can see that looks great. And for the most part, you don't have to, you'll see on the next few photos, you don't usually have to touch up at all very much. Now, let's say for whatever reason I did too much right there, I can change to the restore button, and just kind of in the same way, anywhere on the photo here, if I grab and start painting, it brings back whatever pieces I need to bring back of the photo. So really cool, really easy. You don't have to do layers or anything crazy. You pretty much have your photo done here. So now I'm going to go ahead and move to the next one. So I'll click done, and that gets us, this photo is now completed. We're going to go to our second one, and we'll see how quickly with this photo, again, I select the photo, choose background remover, and we let Canva go ahead and do the work. And you'll see, even with all the black top that's under this vehicle, which would have made it really hard to do, look how beautifully it removed the background for me. And here we'll go ahead and do the ladder. This one's a little tougher to see because it is on a white background. But if we again just choose effects and background remover, and there you go, that's been completed. One other thing on this image that I like to do is crop as well, because I don't need all this extra image here. So I can just bring all this in tight, and that'll just make a smaller image size. And then we just choose crop and then done. And then here you can see, like if I grab this photo or my background and I throw some color in there, you can see that image is now, clear background. Got rid of the background just like we wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Now, one thing here, you can leave these images separate as far as names, or you can go ahead and just click here and add a name. So I'm going to call this ladder no background. I'll call this, I'll kind of just keep them similar. There we go. Now the last thing we have to do is export all these photos to our computer. So we're just going to choose download. And from within this download, we want to keep a couple of things. We want to make sure that we click transparent background to maintain the transparency. And we want to make sure, most times by default, this is set to all 3 pages, but you can individually click if you only wanted to download one of these for some reason at a time. The other ones will stay in your Canva, but for default, I pretty much have it always do all the images. So right here, it says all 3 pages, and you can of course save those settings for later use as well. And we also have the option here to choose a different type of photo, but I like to just leave these as PNGs because when we have transparency, it needs to be a PNG. A JPEG file can't have a transparent background. So we keep it as PNG files and we just hit download. And it's going to go ahead and download that as a zip file because it was 3 separate photos. And just a little note, if we wanted to name the zip file itself, we could name it right here where it says Untitled Design. We could click there and just give it a name, and it would name the entire zip file. So now I'm going to open this, and you'll see right here we have this Untitled Design number 1 because I had already had a previous one. And so it's this one. And I'm going to go ahead and rename this file right now. And we'll call it no background. Okay, so we're done with that. And we'll go ahead and go back into SimsUShare now. And we'll just bring something in. So I'm just going to, for the purpose of this, just move that out of the way. I'm going to come in here to New Element. Choose Utility. Choose Picture. And from here, if I go to my downloads, I have the no background here. And there are my 3 photos. So I can bring in whichever one I want. We'll just bring in this guy for now. And there you go. We have that full image. We can scale it to whatever level we want. Okay, so that is how we remove the background on our photos so that we can bring them into SimsUShare and use them in our simulations. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.